Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViewsNelp, and today we're doing the 14th Android tutorial. Now in this series, I'm assuming that you've seen the previous videos, and if you hadn't, then please feel free to check out the card. It should be somewhere in this area on the top left. But as far as that goes, this particular video is going to get into debugging and how to use the onboard debugger on Android Studio. If you know how to use this, then feel free to click the card to skip ahead. If the card's not there, then that video has not came out yet. Keep in mind these come out once to twice a week. So as far as things goes, let's jump on in. I'm assuming that you already got your emulator up and running. If you hadn't, then please feel free to get that open so we can continue at the same pace if you want to follow through. But as far as that goes, what do you need to know for debugging? One of the biggest things is breakpoints. What is a breakpoint? Well, what a breakpoint is basically is what happens is when you're running code, it will actually run it from the top down, left to right, depending on what, particularly your language that you have this stuff set up in, all the other configurations, but 99% of the world it's going to run like that. But with that in mind, what you're going to keep in mind is the breakpoints. Basically, a breakpoint is it won't go any further until you okay it, and that's part of a debugger. Because what a debugger allows you to do is basically you can go and run a code all the way up to a point and say it works up to this point, and then you know the problem is probably not there, and go further and further and further until you hit a problem and you see, okay, this doesn't work, it's not compatible for whatever reason. Why is it not compatible? And you can go from there. It's good troubleshooting. There's also other things you can do with it to figure out exactly why is your application working the way it is. So when you're learning, this is like a great tool. So with this, how do you set up a breakpoint? There's two ways of doing it. The first and the easiest is go to a particular line. So I'm going to go to the onCreate, and in this left area, this is called a gutter. So what we want to do is click on a blank space in the gutter, and then you'll see this red dot, and then it will have a red line going all the way across, and that's a breakpoint. Again, if we go down, you can see a few more. So with that, another way you can add a breakpoint is by selecting a particular line, go to Run, go down to Toggle Line Breakpoint, and that makes a breakpoint right there. You can also toggle it off. So how do we run the debugger? I'm assuming that you have your emulator up and running as I requested earlier. And what we need to do is turn on the debugger by right next to the play button. We have a little bug icon, and just select that. When you hover over it, it should say debug. Click OK to run it in your emulator. And as far as that goes, what you'll see here is the debug comes up. And let's let that go through. And what you'll notice is there's nothing. Why is this? Well, it simply has to deal with the debugger. It's stopping any progress from the next part. So we stopped it with the onCreate. So with this, let's lower this down a little bit. Now, with this, keep in mind that everything after this particular breakpoint, it's not going any further. So if we go down here and just hover over one of these, you'll see it's equals null because it has not loaded up the stuff. But if we go above here, say for example, if we go to the color wheel, and if we go down to Control and F1, you can see it loaded up all of this stuff. Same thing with some of these. One of these we'll do it with some stuff, as you see here. But as far as that goes, it's a simple thing. Now let's go to the design of this on how it works. If we go to the furthest left portion of the debugger, it will say resume, and basically all that means is it will continue until it gets to the next breakpoint, or until you pause it before then. Then you have the pause that's grayed out whenever you're at a breakpoint or you're currently paused. You have the stop app, and then you go further. So let's go to the right side. We have the show execution point. So what that does is if we are at some weird spot, we can hit that and it takes it right to where the breakpoint is. And if we go to a different tab, same thing there, it takes us right to the breakpoint. That's very important to realize. Then we have the skip over, which basically does the command and goes further. In that way you can do line by line. You do skip into, and this goes into a method. A method could have one thing, you can have 1,000 things. So it's very useful. And if we got skip out of, and that takes you out of the method and completes the particular method. So with this, you can have multiple breakpoints out through your code. So say for example, if I'm not interested in most of this, I just want to care for, okay, if it creates, good. If not, then we need to figure that out. But then we go into the on click, and I can resume it all the way up to that point, or whatever. And it's up to you on how to decide that. Now again, you may notice again down here things are not loaded, and this is simply because it has not had a time, or it's in the on click listener. So what we need to do is go and select the skip over, and you can see that it starts adding things. If we do this a few times, you can see where it actually, instead of it saying something like this where it's null because it didn't load it, if we click into this, I think this one should be null too, but if we click into this, yeah, it's null. Where it's loaded, it actually tells you what's loaded, and you go in and see furthermore into it and the exacts on it. So we can actually go all the way down and then go further, and it takes us to other things that load, things that you wouldn't even know, even on a simple application like this, that it's loading. So you can go through all that on your own. So with that, once you get to a point, it will load the layout and everything. And I'm just going to close these other things so it doesn't confuse us. And what we can do, and by the way, if the debugger doesn't show, you can just hover over the bottom left and go to debug. So with this, what we can do is say, okay, it works like we want it to. So what we can do is go to the listener, and let's say put a debug there, and you see where it paused it once I hit that button, because it allows us to check the code. Says, okay, this is being activated, now let's check it. It's very important. So if we go through this again, the onCreate, and then if we go to this and run it again, we can see that. So for example, we have the thing paused, we hit it twice to initialize, and because we have the breakpoint for the button, we click the button and it takes us there because we already have it set up to use as a breakpoint, so we can actually monitor all the code and what it does. And that's one reason why a lot of developers have multiple monitors, because they're able to do everything on as far as coding on one screen and have the emulators up in another screen, and it's very useful in that aspect, by the way. But with this is a easy and quick way to find problems. Anyways, this is a very useful tool when coding, as seen here, and you probably know of many other instances or can think of. And feel free to leave a comment below on some instances where you think this can be useful. Now, as far as things goes, if this has helped you out, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, share, especially share, but go to Patreon and donate to help these type of videos come out. But if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section and I will try to answer as quickly as possible. Have a good day.